Hi folks, it's Toni Gatlin from redpentravelers.com. I'm here today to show you a new notebook cover size that I've got in our Travelers notebooks. Actually, it's not a entirely new size, but it is a tweak on an existing size that I think a lot of customers are going to really get excited about, especially if you are in the kind of art journaling or bullet journaling world. This will probably be a good fit for you. So we know how the regular Traveler's notebook system works. It's a leather cover with elastic straps and paper inserts that slide under these elastic straps. So they're interchangeable, removable, infinitely customizable. So this is the A5 size. It's one of my most popular sizes. The next popular would be the pocket size, but that's a much smaller, takes the field note size inserts. So it's great for a portable option. But if you want something bigger, this is definitely the most popular size. So that's usually how this works. And these are just some inexpensive blank inserts I found on Amazon in a 3-pack. So they just all fit in those elastic straps, and you can fit quite a few in there. But I've had a lot of people get in touch with me. Either they email me before they place an order and they say, you know, they want to use a bigger notebook inside, a bigger insert like the Leuchtturm 1917 or like Scribbles That Matter or something along those lines. So something that's got a thicker spine and has a lot more bulk to it than these very thin stitched inserts. So when you're using that kind of insert, you need some extra width in the notebook cover because there's just not enough room for that to be a comfortable fit most of the time. Even though leather has a little bit of give to it, you want it to start out the size that you need it to be. So if you intend to use this kind of insert for an art journal or a bullet journal, something like that, if you need this kind of substantial insert, you're going to need to make some tweaks. So that's where I'm hoping that this will solve some problems. So if you're anticipating using it that way, this will be a good option. So I'll show you a couple of the different inserts. This is your standard Leuchtturm 1917, super popular in the bullet journal world. Has a wonderful hardback cover, comes in lots of colors, and is sturdy enough to stand on its own for sure, but a lot of people still like to use a cover so they can carry multiple inserts. This one has Clairefontaine paper in it so that it is very fountain paper friendly. It's wonderfully smooth, really delicious. It's got more of a paper cover than the kind of leatherette that's on these others. This is a Scribbles That Matter. I'm really liking this one because it has a softer, almost velvety kind of feel to it rather than a kind of a slick cover. You can even see this reflection a little bit that you don't get on this one. So this one's more matte and a little bit softer. It also has a built-in pen loop, which I think is a really great feature, and a lot of the same other features as the Leuchtturm, which is these dot grid and the page numbers. So it's still a great option for bullet journaling. So any of these are fantastic, but if you want to carry them in a traveler's notebook cover, you're going to need some extra space because these take up a lot more room than the stitched covers. So let me show you what I've developed. I've tweaked the sizes just a little bit. So this is the standard A5 size. This is my marigold color, and you can see the leather had some natural markings there. So what I've done is adjusted the sizing just a little bit. So the adjusted A5 size is about 1/4 inch shorter and about 1/4 inch wider. So it's a little bit of a more trim fit for the dimensions of these chunkier notebooks. So it's a little trimmer this way, and you also get the extra width that you need to make this fit nicely. So you can just insert this the same way you would with the smaller inserts. And just for time, I'm just going to set these here. So you can carry several of these smaller inserts plus your hardback, and you've got it all nicely in there. Nothing's poking out because it's been adjusted a little bit extra in the width. So if you want to carry multiples of these hardbacks, like I do, I've got 2 hardbacks in my own personal notebook that I refer to every day. So you're going to want to do a couple different things. You can get an expanded spine, a wider spine. So we're adding extra width here in the middle of the notebook so that you have more room. This also adds some reinforcement. So this is a stiffer feel on the spine there. So this will actually stand up on its own like a book. So this will hold, again, one of these inserts and then several of the smaller. And this is a 1-inch spine in purple. And this will be very, very sturdy because it has that reinforced spine. So if you want to carry even more than that, there's also a 1.5-inch spine and even 2 inches. So the 2-inch spine, you can fit a lot in there. Let's take both the 1917 and the Scribbles That Matter and put them there, and you can see you still even have a lot more room. I bet we could even fit a third. Let's take all 3 of these big notebooks. Sure enough, it's really full, but they're in there. So if you intend to use these hardbound kind of inserts, I really highly recommend that you use this adjusted A5 size. It'll be a separate listing on my website, and with just a slightly different sizing. So don't go by the dimensions marked on our usual sizing chart, because this is adjusted a little bit to account for those wider spines on the inserts. So just remember, if you want to have a hardback wide spine insert, you probably want to go with a wide spine on the adjusted A5 size. So this one is Cardinal. It's a nice red, and that's the 2-inch spine. This one, if you're using just the thin inserts, just these little stitched ones, you can fit up to 8 or more in here, at least 8. So if you want a chunky notebook with lots of inserts, the 2-inch spine is a good option. That's the biggest one we've got. My personal favorite is the 1.5-inch. That will allow for 2 hardback notebooks. I'm not sliding them under the elastic, just to demonstrate here. But you would if you wanted to carry them, obviously. So you can fit 2 big ones in there, or a hardback, and then a good 3 or 4 at least of these thinner ones. So you have lots of flexibility. This one also has a closure tab rather than what I call the waistband elastic that goes around the middle there. So that's an option to add to this as well. All right, the final thing, I take that back. Next to final, the penultimate detail here is on this one. You can add a phrase. You can use your name or some sort of motivational phrase. You can have a limited amount of lettering that's dyed into the leather. So this will never rub off or smear or peel up or anything, because it is dyed into the leather. This light color you see here is the natural color of the leather. So that's something that can be added to any of these, and it'll always be in this lower corner here so it doesn't interfere with the tab should you choose that. All right, so that was penultimate. This is the ultimate update. So if you really need a lot of space, or you really just want something that feels super soft, you can go for the Trifold. And this was cut along the rough edge of the leather, and there was a little hole there, and I just left it because I thought it looked cool. So this is very much the same technology as the original Traveler's Notebook concept. Elastic straps to hold your inserts. Let's put one of these in here just for good measure. You could even keep adding, keep chunking it up. So this folds over just like normal, but here I've left extra leather, so this wraps around. So if you have a lot of overhang here, you like to use pin loops, or you've got tabs on your notebook, or you just really want to protect the sides of your notebooks, or you want to have some kind of extra storage here, you want to keep a pen or something, this will help with a lot of that sort of protection. It gives you more space. You can really chunk this up even without having the expanded spine option. You can still have a lot of extra expansion space. So that's an option as well. And this is again in the adjusted A5 size. So this is a little bit shorter than usual, but it's got the extra width. And this is only available in undyed leather because I really feel like you need the extra flexibility. When you moisten leather, even to dye it, it stiffens. So because you really want this to have a lot of extra give for this extra flap, I like for this to be as soft as possible. So this is only available in an undyed option, and you'll be able to choose whether you want a straight edge here, which will be finished and straight and burnished just like the dyed ones, so a trimmed edge. Or sometimes I have hides that have you know, more attractive edges here that aren't too wavy, and so you could request a natural edge option, and sometimes I have that available. It just depends on what the individual hides look like. They don't always have holes in them. I just thought this one looked interesting. So that could be an option for you, and you can have all the same personalization. If you want your initials on it or anything like that, on the Trifold, it's going to be in this area. On all the others, it would appear here. So this is the new adjusted A5 size that is perfect for the hardback inserts and gives you that extra space. So if you need something that's different from what's on our original sizing chart, if you need that extra width because you intend to carry these bulkier inserts in your notebook, definitely order this adjusted size, either in the just the regular traditional layout with the elastic straps, or with a wider spine, either a 1, 1.5, or 2-inch option there, and you can choose the waistband strap, or you can also add on a closure tab. So you can really build it out